JJ's cryptic corner where the coins keep turning, logging out, the future's burning. JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner. Pixels glow, charts flow, crypto whispers, secrets show. He cracks the code on this winding road. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic. Tune in, lean back, grab your coffee, hit the track. JJ's live, don't be late. Cryptic wisdom, seal your fate. JJ's cryptic.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Friday. How's everyone doing today? Sound off in the chat. Let me know what you guys think about the poll in the chat as well. What's going on, Philly? What's going on, Giovanni? Guys, don't forget to smash the like button on your way in. I appreciate you guys for joining me. Hey, what's going on, guys? We are still in the bunker. It's scary out there, guys. It's scary. There's a lot of fear-mongering, a lot of spooky stuff. Gas is expensive. I'm hiding mostly down here because of gas. It's actually a lot cheaper to just eat the rations and not go anywhere. I told my boss I have some bathroom issues, so I don't want to have to go to my work. I'm obviously not gonna tell him that I'm hiding in the bunker so I don't have to pay for gas, but it is what it is. Anyways, Bitcoin currently, I mean, it's down. We're down. Bitcoin's down. On the day, it's up. We're up 0.18% on the day. Is that gonna stick? I don't know, actually. That's an excellent question. If we're going off of our fractal and we're trying to scoot, then this is a retest. Otherwise, the premature pumpulation may end in a little bit of post-dumpulation, if you will. Currently trading at $68,215.12. Let's go refresh our liquidation heat map and see where we're at. I forgot to fix this as well. Let me fix that really quick. Go to the 12-hour. And zoom in here. Okay, I can put this back over here now. Okay, we've got 68,517. 68,517. And then the top of the top, we got, I'm going to go all the way up here, 69,845. And then the bottom, top of the bottom, we've got 67,649. And the bottom of the bottom, it is storming here, by the way, so if the stream rugs, I'm going to fully blame the storm. 66,525. Oops. Very cool. So that is our range. Unfortunately, if our weekend is going to be anything like past weekends, we're probably going to be at this price pretty much until Sunday. But we'll see. Maybe we get lucky and we get a little dump or pump. Philly said dumpulation. Consider that word stolen. We got pumpulation, dumpulation, what else? Dumperoo, dumperoni, dumperino, dumperooski. You could also replace the dump part of all of those words with pump, pumperino, pumperoni, like pepperoni, pumperoni with cheese. You name it. You could pretty much just add whatever like letters on the back of words and make new words. It's pretty cool. Bitcoin, 68,133 and 7 cents. Nothing really crazy going on here. I'm not mad at the retrace. Obviously, the amount seems a little outlandish. This does seem like an ascending broadening wedge. Some people might call it a bullish megaphone, which is my favorite new, like, completely made-up pattern that people are talking about, but maybe it's not made up. Regardless, we are back below 70K, which makes me sad. Oh, jeez. Dude, JJKK is pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. I thought that was my Amazon Echo, and I was very concerned. I was like, why is she saying those words? And also, why did that have to happen during my stream? There was a lot of concern happening, Tyler. Thank you for the $5 super chat. JJ Gay is pretty funny. That might be my new favorite catchphrase. Billy said, begging the storm gods for a rug, please rug, please rug, please rug. Giovanni said, what percentage is your guys' portfolio in stocks versus crypto? Nobody is allowed to answer that because it's going to be the next poll. If you answer it, you will be banned. Okay, let's see. Anyways, Bitcoin, not a whole lot to talk about. 4 hours chilling. RSI is right at 40. We'll see what happens. Bitcoin dominance 59.11. We seemingly rejected 59.8, which is interesting. We broke right past 59.5. Are we going to bounce off of 59 here, or are we going to start blasting to the downside? Tyler said, haha, gotta go. Just wanted to drop in and share the love. I appreciate you, Tyler. A few more of those. And your prize from winning cumulative victories in the daily close contest will be a net break even. Not to mention I'll be able to write off. God, my jokes eventually become just like greed and not funny. I apologize. John said, yes, JJ. Blast down. We got an ass blast from the past. What's going on, Mr. John? I accidentally rhymed with that as well. Pretty cool. Yeah, guys, smash the like button. Oh, I wanted to do like a Karen-like rant for you for a moment, so excuse me while let me get in character. Oh, I'd like to speak to your manager. Are you recording me? I'll record you. Are you recording me? I'll record you. Okay, I'm ready. The quantity of likes during yesterday's stream was abysmal. Very underwhelming and disappointing. If you guys don't like the stream, then I don't like you. That is all I have to say. Also, are you recording me? I'll record you. Okay, I'll record you too. Look at, I'm recording you. I gotta do like a Karen parody. A Karen-dy. Carity? What do you call it? Okay. Whoops. Wrong button. Tyler said, like the effing stream. Jonathan, I'm buying the dip. Billy said, JJ, what's a gallon of regular cost by you? I think today it was $3.39. I think I was excited because it was more yesterday, which is crazy. I've been contemplating, I'm like, should I fill up? But at the same time, I'm like, what if Trump comes out tomorrow and he's like, I assassinated everyone in Iran. It's an empty country now and we're moving in. And we have all of their oil. And the price goes down to like $1. Then I'm the dumbass that paid $4 for gas yesterday because I was worried it was going to go to $4.25, you know? I don't know. Anyways. Dominance, 59. We'll see if we break below that. Nothing really crazy will happen if we do. ETH. I feel like I don't mind the structure on ETH compared to Bitcoin. We are below 2K, which is a little bit sad. So we want to get back above 2K and maybe try to go higher. We got a red dot on the momentum wave pointed to the downside. Negative money flow, bearish crossover the moving average and the RSI. Seemingly rejected. What is this purple trend line? Let's go see. Hold on. Let's see what this purple trend line is. Okay. Wow. This trend line goes all the way back to 2020. April 20th. Or April of 2020. 4/20/20? Maybe? And then, wow, that's actually kind of spooky. So here's the big question. Are we mimicking this dip right here from April 2025? Right below that purple trend line? Let me make this a little bit bigger. I apologize. I'm going to apologize again for all of the mess on the chart. Right there. The purple. It's a little bit bigger. So we got below it right here. And we bounced. And we saw rejection or resistance. And then we eventually blasted above that. guess right here it looks a little bit different. We're below it, and we're showing resistance. Are we going to break above that and then just skyrocket? That would be ideal. Anyways, we're back below. Purple trend line. We're back below 2K. We want to get above 2K. That's a big deal. Are we going to continue this kind of stair step up? Maybe? That'd be ideal. But that is kind of bearish as well. An ascending channel is bearish almost every single time. 88 Metals Mania. Okay, hang on. Billy said, Tyler, the stream is a piece of crap. You couldn't pay me to like this. 88 Metals Mania said, are you recording me? Well, I'm recording you too. Well, I'm recording you. Recording me. Infinite loop. Giovanni, buy a quarter tank and DCA. That's not a bad idea. DCA your gas tank. Where, see, gas is going up though. So, I mean, if I fill up my tank today and tomorrow it's up by 25%, I could sell that gas to somebody else for 25% more than what I paid. It's simple math. Investing 101. We should make an unironic, like, dead serious, straight-face video like this, being like, many people don't know this, but most of you guys have a vehicle for investment sitting in your driveway. Pun intended. If you fill up your gas tank today, and the president decides to bomb a gas-producing country that happens to block the Strait of Hormuz tomorrow, and the price of gas doubles, then guess what? You just doubled your money. Now what do? You go sell that gas for twice what you paid yesterday. And then you wait. Dude, that would be so funny. We should do that. That'd be hilarious. Anyways, ETH 1975. Let's get above 2K. I don't know if this is like a overzealous panic sell, or if this is just a proper retracement. It looks the same as all these other ones. You get pump, dump, pump, dump, pump, dump, pump, dump. You know, over and over again. Never go up, never go down. Sol, down 0.35. Same thing as ETH and Bitcoin. We want to see some upside, man. Sol has a little more to fight for, I would argue, because we actually have like some pretty good resistance quite a ways away, whereas ETH is like right below, and, you know, Bitcoin's just doing its thing. I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin actually does this. You know? But we'll see. We'll see what plays out. Solana looks good. 84.41. Let's get above 90. We talked about it 1,000 times. 85 clearly was not support, which is a shame. If we do continue to the downside, look for psychological levels every $5-10. Total 3. Volume looks great. Volume, like the Jane Street situation, and then the volume really sells it. That thunder might get really loud here for a second. I'm a little spooked right now. Total 3, down 0.08% on the day. Currently trading at 703.51 billion. We are still above 700 billion, which is a big deal. It actually looks like 700 billion was our support. So, getting a bounce off of that would be a big deal. RSI seemingly resetting. Yeah, we had like a descending trend line right here. And we bounced off that, and then we started accumulating to the upside. Let's see what happens. I'm wondering, I'm curious. Do you guys think anything is going to happen with the... Like, do you think Trump's going to announce anything this weekend? Because he likes to do weekend stuff. He usually does it on Friday night, though, so I would imagine we'd be expecting something tonight. We got 5 votes on the current poll. I'm going to end it, even though we're tied with 2 of the choices. Billy said I'm DCAing into ETH at 1,500. For the meantime, my 2 shorts are Chainlink and Arrow. I asked you guys, is silver ready for more upside? 40% of you guys said won't pass current all-time high. 40% said up only from here. 20% said yes, but it will barely make a new all-time high. 0% of you guys think it's a bull trap. Interesting. Okay. Right here. Do you think Trump will end the conflict this weekend or this week? Yes. Same as last time. No. Iran will end it. Which is them like announcing a surrender or something like that early next week. early to mid next week. Or I don't even know what's happening. What conflict? All right, ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the poll in the chat. Do you think Trump will end the conflict this weekend or this week? You got a yes, same as last time. No, Iran will end it, which is then like an unconditional surrender, early to mid next week, or I don't even know what happened. What conflict? Some people just don't pay attention to stuff, man. People got jobs and shit to do. 88 Metals Mania said he will announce some kind of relief on oil and gas prices. I was surprised to see little to no reaction, I guess, immediately in the traffic in the Strait of Hormuz after the insurance and escort was announced. Like, you'd think people would be on top of that, but at the same time, personally, I wouldn't do it. It's not worth my life. That's cool that you got insurance for the company that I work for, but I'm not willing to drive through my, I will abandon ship. You guys can take the ship. I'm staying here. And I'm the captain, so good luck. So I don't know if that's a factor. Cardano is currently trading at 25.88. If this thing doesn't bounce here and we lose 25, then it's going to get pretty spicy. Yeah, look at this. This thing wicked all the way down to 22, which is pretty crazy. Let's see how low it goes, man. Kind of excited. Snack. Oh, they changed their logo. What? That's adorable. Snack currently down 0.77% on the day, trading at 0.0005041. Perhaps a dip worth buying. Not financial advice. This is just my opinion. We'll see. I might scoot this fractal. This is my uber bearish fractal. Is that going to play out now? Finally, maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna leave it. Actually, I'm gonna leave it. 88 Metals Mania said right. I think he would make sure the straight was flowing. Right. Yeah, that's my thought, but so far we got nothing. I'm probably going to skip around here. We're going to go through the charts quick because there's a lot of news, and I think the news is really what's driving the markets right now. Otherwise, we're just in limbo. XRP, believe it or not, showing immense support at 134 or 135. This is a great support zone. I'm not saying buy. If I was a buyer, I would be buying here just lightly. Outside of that, $1 would be a great level to scoop some. Got pretty close right here. Almost got to $1.10. But so far, 135 seems to be really, really good support for some reason, which is awesome. But also keep in mind this thing had a pretty good run up when the SEC situation finally cooled off. So they are maybe due for a prolonged retracement. I think the biggest telltale sign for me is like the Bitcoin rainbow chart. Let me actually pull it up. Bitcoin rainbow chart. We've looked at this before, recently as well. Right here. If you look at this one, log scale as well. Is there an option that isn't log scale? Maybe. Let me see. Okay, so the original one, is that the same damn thing? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the exact same thing. Okay, so original one, you can very much see, we got beautiful spikes right here. This was bull market. Beautiful spikes right here. This was bull market. Beautiful spikes right here. Was that bull market? I think so. Yeah, that was bull market. What happened here? There was no spikes. This looks like this stretched out. Do you see it? I don't see, like, it does in my brain, in my mind, everything that I'm seeing here, way zoomed out, macro, screams extended cycle. And, I'm not going to sit here and make the argument, discount the bull market, the 4-year cycle theory, because clearly we are in a bear market as far as the exponential moving averages are concerned. But if you look at this thing zoomed out on log scale, it does look like we are in still a distribution phase compared to the one that happened in between 2015 and 2019, 2018. It looks very similar to me. And that is copium, so yeah, I'm going to apologize for that, but it's just how I feel. I'm not gonna hide my feelings, guys. Anyways, H bar sideways, not a whole lot going on. Again, we're waiting on news. Sweet. I will say, given the current state of everything, the market's, you got to admit, the market's holding up pretty well. Like, we just went to war, man. There, people are tweaking how much potential for like prolonged war this is. We're at like max FUD, max fear, and this is what Aerodrome looks like. This is what Stellar looks like. Let me erase that. It's gonna bug me. This is what Polkadot looks like. Like, the market is holding up very, very nicely. I don't know if there's just nobody left to sell, if everybody just finally walked away, and this is like, what if the market is actually bottomed and this is just the dust sitting in everyone's wallets equals this amount? There's nobody actually left like capable of selling. That'd be kind of funny. But if you look at the metrics, as far as distribution of like institutional Bitcoin and altcoins, most of the holdings are Bitcoin. Bitcoin's like 93%. And then Ethereum is like 4%. And altcoins are like some teeny tiny minuscule number. Giovanni said, bro, the market is holding up crazy good, to be honest. If this is a bear market, everyone was super dramatic because this ain't that bad. It's weird. It's weird not dumping. Like, this is spooky, sure. But how spooky is it, really? And again, it is hopium copium, if you will, for me to really think this way. But I really do feel like it's been worse in the past. Here's a good question, actually. I'm gonna pull a fractal right now. Are you ready? This is the next fractal. Let's go all the way down to that guy. Bam. Is this what's happening right now? Actually doesn't look that close, which is great. But maybe it is. Maybe we get a touch of around 80, and then that results in our final dump down to 40. That'd be crazy. Oops, what did I do? Just pulled something I wasn't supposed to pull. Let's zoom out here because there's another fractal on here that I want to take a look at. Yeah, look at that bad boy. What if we do end up with this prolonged, boring situation, and we're looking at 2027, 2028 bull market setup? Are we going to go up to like 160K? That'd be kind of cool. See how bearish the targets get after just a month or two in the bear market. First we were calling for like $500,000. Now we're like, oh, we'd be happy with 160K. Professor Oak said, catch any Pokemon tonight? No, they were sold out. I was quite sad. I was very sad. So yeah, let's see what happens, man. Market's holding up like crazy. I'm quite impressed. 88 Metals Mania said, it's pretty ugly, lol, fellas. It is ugly, but in the most beautiful way possible. It's not about what's on the outside. Dude, I'm in it for the tech. She's got a great personality. I'm just saying. So all we gotta do is we gotta refine the outside, you know? I'm just saying. All right, let's continue. News segment. Oh yeah, no, we gotta go through silver and gold. Gold pumping, obviously. We got our little retrace. We got our fake out of the upside, our retrace to the downside. Are we gonna get an MW pattern right here, and then blast to the past and see what we got? I don't know. Even gold and silver are sideways, like, weirdly enough. Obviously, gold and silver pumped up like crazy, whereas Bitcoin dumped down like crazy. But from like this point forward, like January, we've been sideways, man. It's been like weirdly sideways. January, February. So let's see if gold gets above 5,200 is definitely the current resistance. Can we get above 52? And then if we do, are we going to reject somewhere, retest 52, and then continue to the upside from there? I don't know. And then when all of that's said and done, are these lines going to become relevant later on? I don't know. My target, my long-term, like super duper crazy out of the blue target is 58. We almost hit that. We got like 56. If we never get anywhere near that again, I'm going to call this a victory. Because I was not expecting it to fly up like this that fast, especially. We got pretty damn close. 200 bucks, whatever percentage that may be, is pretty insignificant. Tisha said, Yo Fit Girl would have made a good return, though it rugged again, lol. Do you want to check it out? Let's go check it out. Absolutely. I'm always down for a good callback. Let's go check out Fit Girl. We talked about, that's what I was cracking up at the other day. What's it called again? Yeah, it's just called Fit Girl. I was cracking up about this right here. I was like, why is she called Fit Girl? And I was like, it's because she's going to make the spoon fit. I don't know, man. It's weird. It's very plausible deniability. Like I said, she got her gooner buddies to pump it up, and then she like, this is what happens. She made one big sell, and she was like, okay, now I feel guilty. And then somebody else sold, somebody bought, and she's like, okay, well, they're gonna sell, I'm gonna sell too. And then she sold more, she sold more, she sold more. Allegedly, I'm making this up. This is a parody. Don't sue me, Fit Girl. Don't shove a spoon in my D hole, please. But what was that? ROI. If we would have bought the dip, like psychopaths, the zero, you buy like the launch price, which is where we're at right now. If we would have bought that, then this thing went up 200%. Dang, okay. We can make it fit. Okay, I'm sorry. It's disgusting. Silver. Silver's up 2.69% on the day, currently trading at 84.47. Let's see, we've rejected 95 right back here. Pulled back to 80, bounced off of 80. 80 seems to be holding as a nice little level. We're consolidating now. I guess I would argue that silver, like gold actually looks like it wants to go up. Silver looks like it's going to decide what direction it's going to go rather soon. Definitely in like a consolidation wedge setup. What direction that's going to break, I have no clue. But I will continue to watch and see what we got. Yeah, I do like the idea of upside. Very uniform volume. The volume's weird. How uniform volume is on assets like silver and gold. Tisha said it's back at support again. Will it pump? I guess the support is zero. So yeah, I mean, I think it has to. Unless it's fully abandoned, but it has not reached that proper age yet where it gets abandoned. Ew, I just thought of a really good like Hollywood analogy for meme coins. Once they reach a certain age, nobody wants them. Damn. That's dark. That's so dark. We got 6 votes. I'm going to close it. The current poll, I asked you guys, do you think Trump will end the conflict this weekend or this week? I think I meant to say next week. 50% of you guys said, I don't even know what happened. What conflict? 33% of you guys said yes. Same as last time. 17% said early to mid next week. All right, we got 6 votes out of that bad boy. Next poll. This one's going to be a very, very important one. So I'm going to need everybody to pay attention. What would you want to be famous for? It's an important question. Very important. Are you ready? Here are your options. Movies / TV show. You could be actor, director, grip, I don't care. Musician, investor, or royalty. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the poll in the chat. What would you want to be What would you want to be famous for? You got movies and TV, musician, investor, or royalty. Like Lord Farquaad. Some of you may die, which blew my mind literally that Trump did that the other day. He was like, in a war, sacrifices must be made. And I was like, that's the Lord Farquaad thing. Blew my mind. We live in a simulation, man. Anyways, ISM, we're waiting until next month now for that bad boy to come out. DXY looks like kind of like we got a little double top here at 99.4, which is a very random, arbitrary number, but I'll take it. We got double top. Are we going to get a dump off of that? That would be exciting. There's almost like a triple top, double top within the double top right here. And that equates 1 top for 2, for a total of 2. Buy one, get one free top. So, RSI broke below the moving average, and we've rejected both times yesterday and today. Not that that's entirely relevant, but it's worth discussing. Let's see if we end up holding 98.75 or if we break below it and we get another one of these guys. If that is the case, are we actually going to properly fall? This is where I got surprised last time. I was not like I was fully expecting this to just continue up, and then it just kind of like the floor fell out from under it. It got there, a sinkhole opened up, and a cavern was created, and this thing just went ah. Was not expecting that. And then this bear pennant breaking bullish, also unexpected. I'm assuming there's some grand master plan for all of this. I just have no clue what it is. John Tujo said, oh, whenever people say that they recognize my face and ask if I was on TV, which actually happens a lot for some reason, I tell them I did gay porn in the 90s. Oh, damn, that's really funny. Because then the person, what if you get somebody and they're like, oh my God, who are you? Oh my God, I knew it. And you're like, what? That would be so funny. You just catch the one guy. All right, DXY 98.85. Yeah, let's see if this pulls back, and if it does, 98 is going to be the next big point of contention that we're going to watch. MicroStrategy, aka Big B Coffee. In case you guys are not aware, for those Tom Selleck scouts out there, Big B Coffee and Strategy, for some reason, have the same logo designer. Same exact logo. That's why I call it Big B Coffee. MicroStrategy 132.84. The dip is being bought, but is it for not? We got a little curl and then dump. A little curl. Are we going to get a dump? I don't know. If this thing goes below $100, I mean, we get one more of these. This is crazy. How far of a dump was this? Oh my gosh, that sucks so bad. That sucks so bad. This thing's doing like 50% dumps like every other week. Wow. Holy cow, look at this one. 50%. 55 actually, even worse. Look at this one. 35%. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. So yeah, let's see if it does it again, or if this becomes a bear trap. That would be interesting because, you know, people would look at this, they'd be like, it's definitely going to do that again. They open up shorts, they load up, which by the way, I don't know if you guys knew this, Strategy is now the most like shorted company on the planet, the most shorted stock on the planet Earth that we live on. People think this one's going down. John said they usually just laugh. I always try to keep a straight face too, because, you know, I ain't gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that, LOL. Yeah, that's funny. Oh, I was going to make a joke about the Strait of Hormuz, because it's not straight at all. It's very much not straight. Yeah, tell me. Oh, God. Click on the damn picture, bro. What is straight about this? This is the most unstraight thing I've ever seen. It is very much a curve. That is not straight. It ain't even straight, bro. Gay ass Hormuz. John just said that in the chat. Gay ass Hormuz. I mean, that's why everyone's having trouble getting through it. It ain't straight. They just keep going straight. They're like, wait, we can't. They're like, full speed ahead. They're like, we can't. There's land there. What are we supposed to do? I don't know. The ship's not capable of turning, so we're gonna have to dock and figure out what the heck's going on. Sir, the Strait of Hormuz is, well, I hate to be the one that have to tell you this though, but I'm afraid the Strait of Hormuz is gay. Dun, dun, dun. Excuse me, I have to take some Pepsid. I got a little bit of heartburn. All right. Yeah, Strategy. We'll see what happens. NASDAQ down 1.58%. Big downside for the NASDAQ. Anything above like 0.1 is like the craziest day on the planet for stocks. Somebody pointed out a while ago, which was concerning, and it's still concerning. I don't know if it was on the weekly. It was on a higher time frame. Maybe it was the daily. I think it was this right here. It was, dang it. Okay. Somebody pointed this out. They were like, whenever there's a sideways accumulation on any of these, it dumps. And it kind of looks like we're doing that right now. Now, that being said, how much further do we have to go if we're going to fulfill that exact same move? Oh, another 17%, which sucks, but I guess it'll be a buying opportunity. So outside of that, 24,634. Next psychological level is going to be 24 if we can get down there. 24.5. Well, no, actually that's not true. 24.5 should be some point of contention. Otherwise, we got to bounce right here off of 24.4. So maybe it'll be 24.4. We got 24.2, 24.4. Maybe this is going to be 24.6. That'd be kind of cool. I don't know. Just because patterns and stuff. We got a bearish cross over the moving average on the RSI. We'll see where that ends up. S&P 500 down 1.33% on the day. Currently trading at $6,740.01. Broke below 67.50. Probably going to get dicey here, I'm thinking. If we don't turn up pretty soon. Not going to lie, I was not expecting it to go up that fast either. So I suppose, can I call a victory if we recouple to this stupid fractal and then we, like, it plays out? Was that allowed? Seems kind of crazy. That's a big fractal. Anyways, we got for sure got resistance at 6,900. We're currently sitting at 67.40, below 67.50. I guess it's all gonna ride on news this weekend. If we get any kind of bullish news, then we'll probably gap up on Monday, or with futures open on Sunday. Otherwise, downside probably gonna continue. Dominance 59.14, and Bitcoin itself up 0.2%, currently trading at 68,246. The dip is for buying, in my opinion. I'm going to continue to buy the dip. I don't care if somebody tells me like we've got full-on confirmed multi-year bear market. There's literally no way around it. It's going to happen. I'm going to go, okay, thank you. And I'm going to keep dollar cost averaging. Because I'm a psychopath. Okay. News segment. Global Dissident posted something big just happened. We got some FUD in the news segment, so prepare yourselves. BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, just blocked withdrawals. Investors tried to pull $1.2 billion from its $26 billion private credit fund. BlackRock said no and capped withdrawals at 5%. Nearly half the investors who wanted out were denied their money. At the same time, Blackstone faced record withdrawals and had to inject $400 million of its own cash. When the biggest funds on earth start limiting withdrawals, it is a major warning sign for the entire $1.8 trillion private credit market. Spooky, spooky, spooky. And then we got community notes, which says BlackRock limited withdrawals to 5%. BlackRock $26 billion private credit fund limits withdrawals. BlackRock fund limits withdrawals as redemptions rattle private credit. This post explains withdrawals were limited to 5%. Okay, yeah. So is there a note on the note? I'm confused. Out of control, man. Community notes are out of control. Watcher Guru posted, Binance says U.S. Senator something's claims that Iranian-linked accounts operated on the platform are false and an attack on crypto. Brent crude oil prices surged to $91, up 25% in the last 7 days. Solana falls just under, I thought that said $5. I was like, whoa, where? Solana falls under 85 bucks. Bitcoin falls under 68. We are currently sitting above 68, so that's good. Jim Cramer says now is a chance for people to sell. Thank God. Guys, we're going to be okay. Nintendo sues U.S. government over President Trump's tariffs, demanding a prompt refund with interest. Over $805 billion wiped out from the U.S. stock market today. That's a lot of money. Treasury Secretary Bessent says the U.S. may lift sanctions on Russian oil. There you go. Marty Party posted stablecoin market cap $312.23 billion March 6th. This thing continues to climb. BlackRock's 26... Okay, we got a long post for Marty Party, so bear with me. I'm going to read the whole thing, though. BlackRock's $26 billion HPS Corporate Lending Fund, a major non-traded business development company in the private credit space, has capped quarterly redemptions at 5% after investors requested to withdraw 9.3% of shares, equivalent to roughly $1.2 billion in potential outflows, per Bloomberg calculations. The fund will fulfill about $620 million, hitting the 5% threshold, a standard liquidity management feature for these semi-liquid vehicles. This move, reported today, March 6, 2026, reflects mounting pressure across the $1.8 trillion private credit industry, where retail and wealthy investors are pulling money amid concerns over credit quality. Recent loan with write-downs include BlackRock marking loans to zero in cases like Infinite Commerce Holdings, falling returns in a lower rate environment, and broad market jitters. BlackRock shares reacted sharply, dropping around 5 to 6% in trading today, adding to sector-wide volatility. This follows similar stress at peers. Blackstone's flagship BCRED fund. It's always the ones that, like, cred is like credentials, like qualification, so it's always the ones that are kind of obvious. Sam Bankman-Fried, and he was the one that, like, rugged us. Blackstone's flagship BCRED fund, $82 billion in assets, saw record redemption requests of 7.9%. Earlier this week, they met 100% by upsizing the tender offer to 7% and having the firm employees step in to cover the remaining. That's crazy. 0.9%, about $400 million in total internal support per reports. Blue Owl has faced even heavier outflows in tech-focused funds, up to 15% in some cases, and permanently halted regular quarterly redemptions in at least one vehicle, Capital Corp 2, shifting to assets sales / periodic payouts, a move that rattled investors further. The broader trend, a redemption wave, is hitting retail-oriented private credit funds, non-traded BDCs, with quarterly requests surging well above the typical 5% gates. This comes after years of massive inflows into these evergreen products, promising higher yields than traditional fixed income. Now, with isolated but high-profile issues, software sector stress from AI disruption, e-commerce aggregator troubles, bankruptcies like Renovo or First Brands exposure, investors are retreating. Key context, these funds are designed as semi-liquid. Quarterly redemptions are a feature, not a bug, with built-in caps to prevent fire sales of illiquid loans. Institutional demand remains strong in many cases, but retail anxiety is driving the bulk of outflows. No systemic crisis yet. Defaults are dispersed, not widespread, but the gating / limiting actions highlight liquidity mismatches in retail access to private markets. Private credit remains a hot and growing asset class, but today's news underscores the risk of illiquidity when sentiment turns. Markets are watching closely for similar announcements from other players like Ares, Apollo, or KKR in coming weeks. All right. I actually like that. That was a good clarification. What do we got for the poll? We got 3 votes on the poll. You guys would mostly rather be known for an investor. Okay. Marty Party posted stablecoin mint 2 minutes ago. Another 250 million USDC issued on Solana. Very cool. People, financial repression has kicked into the game or into the next gear. You will not be able to withdraw or exit counterparty assets. This BlackRock credit fund restriction is a canary in the coal mine. Hedge your wealth into non-counterparty assets, physical gold, or self-custody crypto. I will say I do like self-custody. Breaking, 3 of the 4 big Gulf countries, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Kuwait, and Qatar, are discussing withdrawing from the U.S. and other investments as the toll from the war with Iran mount, per the Financial Times. We read this yesterday, actually. Over $2 trillion in U.S. investments appear to be at risk. The Trump administration is issuing a 30-day waiver to allow India to purchase Russian oil amid the war with Iran. Investors' positioning in the options market is extremely bearish. The S&P 500's 3-month put-call skew is up to 0.5, near the highest in 3 years. Put-call skew measures how much more expensive put options are relative to call options, with higher readings signaling greater investor fear. By comparison, the average 3-month single-stock put-call skew is up to 0.15, the highest since August. Furthermore, the S&P 500's 1-month skew is up to 0.53, the highest since the 2022 bear market. Interesting. This nearly matches the level seen during the 2020 pandemic crash of 0.56. Is Wall Street getting overly bearish? Ooh, I like that. I want to see retail get bearish because retail is who you do the opposite of. Breaking. The U.S. Development Finance Corporation is around $200 billion short of the capacity needed to underwrite insurance policies for ships going through the Strait of Hormuz, per the Financial Times. Details include the U.S. DFC was ordered by President Trump on March 3rd to insure vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. DFC reportedly has $154 billion of the $352 billion needed to underwrite insurance policies. Raising the total liability cap for the U.S. DFC would require an act of Congress. Traffic in the Strait of Hormuz is now down by 92%. Nearly 20 million barrels per day of oil supply are currently frozen. That's crazy. Breaking. U.S. oil prices surge above $84 a barrel for the first time since July 2025. Oil prices are now up 55% since December, with Brent nearing $90. U.S. oil prices surge above $86 a barrel for the first time since April 2024. Qatar is now warning that prices could hit $150 a barrel. That's crazy. The U.S. economy unexpectedly loses. This is jobs numbers today. 92,000 jobs in February, below expectations of a plus $58,000 gain. So they were expecting us to gain 58,000 jobs, but we actually lost twice that amount. The unemployment rate was 4.4%, above expectations of 4.3%. This marks just the second monthly job loss since the 2020 pandemic. The U.S. labor market is clearly weakening. Are we sure? Is this not the second monthly job loss since like last month? Because I thought that they revised like all of 2025 down. Am I wrong? Wouldn't that be like a net negative? I don't know. I don't understand all of this crap and how they can screw it up to the point where they have to revise it down a year later, the opposite direction. They're like, oh, instead of, it wasn't positive, it was negative, completely negative. We were completely wrong about the numbers last time, and we're just lying, I guess. It's fine. That's fine. Breaking. Qatar says the Iran war could bring down the economies of the world and warns oil prices may see $150 within days as Gulf countries prepare to shut down production, per the Financial Times. Details include Qatar predicts that all Gulf energy exporters will shut down production within days. Even if the war ended immediately, it would take Qatar weeks to months to return to normal. Qatar predicts that natural gas prices will rise 400%. Qatar says global GDP will be hit if war continues for a few weeks. Qatar says the war will delay all expansion plans for the country's energy industry. U.S. oil prices are now at their highest since April 2024. Dang. Yeah, I'm assuming this is a non-sustainable thing. Let's go ask Grok a question, because I want to ask about this. Yep, okay. What do you think Trump's plan is with Iran? It seems unsustainable for not only oil, but inflation to keep up this conflict. What is your input? Input and timeline. What is your estimated input and timeline? Yeah, I want to see what Grok has to say about it, because this seems crazy to me. President Trump says there will be no deal with Iran except unconditional surrender. U.S. oil prices immediately surged to a 2-year high. Okay, let's read the whole thing. There will be no deal with Iran except unconditional surrender. After that, and the selection of a great and acceptable leaders, we and many of our wonderful and very brave allies and partners will work tirelessly to bring Iran back from the brink of destruction, making it economically bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. Iran will have a great future. Make Iran great again. Mega? Oh no! What the hell is it? Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Damn. Not mega. That's awful. That's so bad. Oh gosh. Okay. Brent crude oil prices surge above $90 a barrel for the first time in 2 years as President Trump says there will be no deal with Iran and tells Iran to surrender. That's crazy. Yeah, dude, that is so cringe. That's probably one of the first things that I've seen from him that I know for sure was written by him. Breaking: Kuwait has begun cutting production of its oil fields after running out of room to store its bottled up crude oil, per Wall Street Journal. Details include Kuwait is discussing limiting production to just what it needs to cover domestic consumption. A decision on those broader cutbacks is expected within days, sources say. One production is shut. Restarting production can take days or even weeks. Kuwait's around 2.6 million barrels of oil production per day appear to be at risk. Oil storage in the Gulf countries is nearing maximum capacity. It takes like less than a week for that to happen. That's crazy. Russia is now providing Iran with real-time intelligence on the locations of U.S. military assets, including warships and aircraft in the Middle East, per Washington Post. Russia calls for an end to the war, which it says is an unprovoked attack of armed aggression, or act of armed aggression. President Trump says he sees gas prices going down very quickly. Really? I mean, that's the biggest hint that I need right there. We now have the second largest monthly jobs loss since the pandemic. Oil prices up 60% in 4 months to a new 2-year high. Gas prices up more than 20% since December 2025. U.S. PPI inflation unexpectedly rising to its highest since July 2025. 10-year note yield up 20 basis points this week. $600 billion plus an expected AI investment from Magnificent Seven companies in 2026. Own assets or be left behind. I can't wait for the AI overlords. I'm kind of excited. It's going to be different. You know, we've been seeing the same deja vu stuff play out over and over again every single year. Breaking: U.S. oil prices are now expected to rise above $100 a barrel this month, with markets pricing in around 66% chance it happens, per Polymarket. The last time oil prices were above $100 was July 2022, bear market. Are they forcing a bear market right now? Is that what's happening? Our conflict playbook is progressing. As oil prices hit $90 a barrel and gas prices surge over 20%, the market is quickly pricing in prolonged disruption. This is exactly what happens in step number 6 of our playbook. As we note below, the biggest variable now is the amount of time between step number 6, conflict pricing, and step number 7, conditional de-escalation. At current prices, U.S. CPI inflation would near 3% per our analysis, an unsustainable backdrop. Our 2 to 4 week timeline remains in effect. All right. Today, President Trump called for Iran's unconditional surrender. The last time we saw this happen was on June 17th, 2025. What did I say? Deja vu. 6 days later, on June 23rd, a ceasefire was announced. Will history repeat itself on March 12th? Are we just going to do this every year? What if I said oil should be 115 to 125 soon? Yeah. March 12th is exactly 12 days after February 28th, the day the war started. Coincidentally, the June 2025 conflict with Iran also lasted exactly 12 days. What if I said 150 if boat hit? Right. U.S. oil prices surge above $90 a barrel. This is from 10 hours ago, up 14% on the day, now at the highest level since October 2023. We expect to see U.S. gas prices above $3.50 a gallon by Monday. Go fill up those tanks, guys, I'm telling you. Unless, like I said, unless there's some surprise and everything gets chilled out, which is entirely possible. Breaking: U.S. oil prices are on track for their largest weekly gain on record in data going back to 1982, now up 34.5% this week. Breaking: the U.S. oil prices extend gains to plus 16% on the day, rising to 91.50, now up 66% since December. Oil prices are up $10 a barrel in 8 hours. That's crazy. It is truly incredible to watch. 5 minutes ago, U.S. crude oil prices surged above $91.50 a barrel. Now we are above $92.50, adding $1 a barrel in 5 minutes. This puts prices up $12 per barrel in 9 hours. We are witnessing a historic short squeeze as we speak. That's crazy. Oh, Waterfly said, I paid $3.75 today for premium. What are you buying premium for, man? I remember I put premium in my car one time and I freaked out. I was like, oh, I just broke my car. And I called my mom. I just got my license. I was like, I just put premium in my car. And she was like, oh my God, that's so funny. And I was like, why are you so chill about this? What do I do? She's like, what do you mean? And I was like, can I drive my car? And she's like, yeah, what do you, I swear to God, mind you, I've been working on stuff like my entire life. I had no idea what gas was, I guess. And she goes, yeah, all you did was pay too much for gas. And I was like, oh, okay, good. I freaked out though. I was like, oh shit, I just put premium in my car. That was pretty funny. Waterfly said Lexus have to do it anyway. Okay, all right, very nice. So a lot of people don't know this. A lot of luxury cars tell you to put unleaded in, and they still buy for premium. Whatever the manufacturer recommends is what you should be using. Lexus, way higher end. They're probably calling for premium. So, props to you on that, my friend. A lot of people don't know that though. I learned that from Scotty Kilmer, who anyone who works on their own vehicle or has done any work on their own vehicle knows Scotty Kilmer. He's on YouTube. Absolute legend. Love the guy. All our cars take premium. Yeah, I know. I figured that out. Except for diesel. It was pretty embarrassing afterwards. I was like, damn. She's like, all you did was pay too much for gas. I was like, oh, okay, good. All right. The market has never experienced anything like this. The S&P 500's trading range in the first 41 trading days of 2026 is just 2.7%, the narrowest for this period on record, going back to 1928. Giovanni said, for real? Isn't Lexus just a Toyota engine? I don't know, actually. By comparison, during the 2008 financial crisis, the index traded within a 35% range, 1,200% wider than the current level. The 2020 pandemic saw a range of 15% or 450% wider. Even the calmest periods in 1950s and 60s and before the financial crisis saw higher volatility than today. The market remains extremely subdued despite elevated volatility beneath the surface. This is also tighter than any Dow Jones trading range. That's crazy. All right. The Trump administration announces $20 billion reinsurance program for oil tankers and other vessels moving through the Strait of Hormuz. Details include the U.S. DFC will insure losses up to $20 billion on a rolling basis. The U.S. DFC and Treasury Department will be cooperating with CENTCOM on the program. Priority is to get oil, gasoline, LNG, jet fuel, and fertilizer through the Strait of Hormuz. Currently, less than 20% of global oil supply, around 20% of global oil supply is offline. This was 7 hours ago. I'm assuming within the next 12 to 24 hours, something big is going to be announced, like they're going to start moving ships through the strait. Waterfly said close 2014 IS 350F Sport. Look it up. Waterfly or 88 Metal said, well, the wife's Mercedes takes premium. My Silverado takes premium as well. If it recommended regular, I'd be more than happy to use it. Giovanni said, oh. All right. Breaking. Iran says it has not entirely closed the Strait of Hormuz, but ships linked to the U.S. or Israel are not allowed to pass. Okay. That's kind of bullish. That's kind of funny. They're just going to cover up all the flags with, like, other flags. That's really funny, actually. Breaking. President Trump says the largest U.S. defense companies have agreed to quadruple production of weaponry to reach the highest levels of quantity. Trump says the U.S. has a virtually unlimited supply of medium and upper medium grade munitions to use in Iran. We just concluded a very good meeting with the largest U.S. defense manufacturing companies where we discussed production and production schedules. They have agreed to quadruple production of the exquisite class weaponry in that we want to reach as rapidly as possible the highest levels of quantity. Expansion began 3 months prior to the meeting, and plants and production of many of these weapons are already underway. We have a virtually unlimited supply of medium and upper medium, what is upper medium grade? Munitions, which we are using as an example in Iran and recently used in Venezuela, regardless. However, we have also increased orders at these levels. The companies represented were the CEOs of BAE Systems, Boeing, Honeywell Aerospace, L3 Harris Missile Solutions, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, and Raytheon. The meeting concluded with other meetings scheduled in 2 months. States all over the country are bidding for these new plants. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. I will say, As morbid as it is, war is good for business. War is good for business. If you got bad jobs numbers, really bad jobs numbers, you ramp up like a legit war, like boots on the ground war, you will create jobs. 88 Metals Mania said, Boeing, Boeing, Boeing probably going up. Who's the biggest weapon supplier? Let's go ask, actually. That's a good question. Who is the U.S. biggest? It's probably a private company, like unknown. Biggest weapon supplier. Lockheed Martin. That's what I thought. Other top suppliers include RTX Corporation, formerly Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, Boeing, and General Dynamics. These firms collectively dominate the U.S. defense sector, producing major systems like the F-35 fighter jet. Damn. All right. I guess I think the most interesting part to me is the fact that I mean, actually, let me look it up. Nvidia is worth more than Lockheed Martin. That's kind of weird. Is that not weird? I feel like Nvidia eventually is going to dominate the defense space as well, just because of the amount of technology that we're probably like just now integrating. Maybe they already do. Maybe they already supply a shit ton of stuff to the, I don't know. Maybe they make their own in-house. I don't know. Exactly. Them companies are what you want. 100%. We actually talked about this a couple of weeks ago, maybe even months ago. We were like, we should invest in defense just in case there is war escalations. It's like a hedge against peacetime. And clearly we should have listened to ourselves. Okay. U.S. oil prices officially post their largest weekly gain on record in data going back to 1982, rising 34.5%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average ended the week minus 1,500 points lower, its worst week in nearly a year. It's going to be an extremely busy weekend ahead. U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent says the U.S. might unsanction Russian crude oil. 4 hours ago, breaking, the largest U.S.-backed ETF, GLD, posted a record $3 billion in outflows on Wednesday. This surpasses any previous large daily outflow seen over the last 2 years by 200%. At the same time, silver ETFs recorded small outflows, while Bitcoin ETFs saw modest inflows. This came a day after gold prices dropped 4.4%, the biggest daily decline since January 30th crash of 11.4%. This all follows global gold ETFs pulling in $5.3 billion in February and $18.7 billion in January, marking the 9th straight month of inflows and the best 2-month start to a year on record. Gold investors are locking in gains after a historic rally. I love the picture. Glad we can't see it. All right, what do we got? 50%. We got 4 votes on the poll. I guess I'm going to end the poll. We'll get another poll going. Let's end our poll. You guys can take a look at Bitcoin's boring. Let's go look at gold. 51.71. I guess we'll look at Pax Gold. It's actually down 51.70. No, looks the same. I asked you guys, what do you want to be famous for? What would you want to be famous for? 50% of you guys said investor, 25 said movie, TV show, and 25 said royalty, Farquaad, and the likes. 0% said musician. So the reason I would never pick investor is because I feel like famous investors, even if they're really good at their job, they will always, always by somebody be called a scammer. Or even after they've, long past, people will be like, well, was this guy getting insider information? Did he scam everybody? I feel like it'd be more fun to do like movies, TV show, or musician. Royalties, I feel like maybe this is a little too morbid, but I feel like being royalty is just depressing. Because you just you have everything. You never had to work for anything in your life, so you just struggle with like identity problems your entire life. You know what I mean? All right. Let's do this one. How high will average gas price get in America? We got up to $3.50, up to $4. Now this is the average. I think the average right now is like $3.20 something. Up to $4.50, up to $5. or more. Let's hope not, though. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the poll in the chat. How high will the average gas price go in America? Up to $3.50, $4, $4.50, or $5 or more. More would be crazy, but if you live in California, you're probably already paying that. You're probably paying $5 for the past 8 years. One of my favorite things that I've seen recently is that guy. He's like, I gave Claude access to my entire financials, all my financials, and asked it for advice. It said one thing: move out of California. I was like, yeah, if you live in California, you should probably leave. Okay. U.S. private credit market is heading in the wrong direction. The median listed business development company, BDC, is now trading at just 0.73x. Its net asset value, NAV, is the lowest since 2020. BDCs are publicly traded firms that lend to small, mid-sized, and distressed U.S. businesses, offering retail investors access to private credit markets. In other words, they are priced at 73% of their claimed worth. The median listed BDC price to NAV has been consistently declining over the last 18 months. To put this into perspective, the ratio collapsed to 0.35x in 2008, meaning the market valued BDCs at just 35 cents on the dollar. This comes as concerns are growing that AI will disrupt business models of software firms and make it harder to refinance debt, with the average BDC holding around 20% exposure to the sector. The private credit industry is under heavy pressure. A lot of people talking about this private credit thing. It is, I don't know if it should be concerning. It definitely seems like people are concerned. That's for sure. But again, I don't know if that's relevant yet, like given what we know. Is it genuinely the right time to be like terrified of private credit? Or is this being like blown out of proportion? I really don't know. What sucks is we used to have really fun 24-hour markets. Whatever they have done has destroyed that fun. 24-hour markets now are pretty much useless. Trueflation posted US CPI today, 1.02% based on millions of price data points. More cooling is expected tomorrow. The real-time price trends oscillate between mild deflation and inflation for a few categories, particularly housing, food, and transport, as the underlying component dynamics shift, some related to rising gasoline prices and geopolitical tensions, while others continue this year's downtrend. 88 Metals Mania said $4.90 a gallon here. Wow. What if I said don't worry about private credit? Media crazy? That's what I thought. Like, I think it was Lunar Entity pointed it out a couple weeks ago, maybe even months ago, started talking about it. It was like, I've been just watching this. So far, there's nothing to be concerned about, but if, this is what to look out for. If this happens, we can be concerned. When Lunar Entity shows up and says we should be concerned about private credit, that is when I will start to be concerned about private credit. Because he's shown us, like, if he wanted to try to convince me of crazy shit, I feel like he could convince me with the charts that he's shown me. I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, like the dude knows the shit. It's very impressive. Cheers, guys. Happy Friday. I'm very excited that it's Friday. I do have to get up early, which sucks, but I think my week next week is looking very light. We should be able to have a chill time with the streams and such. All right. Adoption. DEX trading via Coinbase is now accessible in 84 countries. Very cool. U.S. non-farm payrolls fell by 92,000 in February, while the unemployment rate held at 4.4%. 21 Shares U.S. launches a Polkadot ETF, T-Dot, giving investors exposure via banks and brokers. CFTC Chair Michael Selig says crypto is a check on debanking and exclusion from the financial system. Curve Finance says PancakeSwap copied its code without permission, calling it a license violation. That's crazy. Bitcoin is in a bear market year, but October could mark a key turning point, says Benjamin Cowan. I wonder where he got that from. Wow, good job, Ben. Next. About $800 billion wiped from U.S. stocks at the open. That's a lot of money. Gold ETF, GLD. Dixie said gas $5.59 here for the cheap stuff. That's crazy. Hi, JJ. How you doing, Dixie? Saw $2.91 billion in outflows on Wednesday, the largest in a decade per bar chart. Cango Inc. shuts down 30% of mining capacity, reducing hash rate to 34.55 whatever EH per S as mining profits decline. I will say now's probably a great time to be a lottery miner. I'm thinking about buying one just to have it on my desk. Insight software engineer demand has spiked since mid-2025 despite AI advances per Citadel Securities. Pretty crazy. Happy Friday, Dixie. Yeah, guys, smash the like button. Appreciate you guys for being here. Let me reread that because this one seems relevant and almost important. Software engineer demand has spiked since mid-2025 despite AI advances per Citadel Securities. I almost guarantee you this is either for integration assistance or to like proofread code. Because everyone's probably like, oh my gosh, we can integrate technology now. And they're doing that, but they're also like, well, this is really sloppy and crappy because AI is still very much in its toddler years. So they're hiring software engineers to, again, help with that transition almost. Implementation. MasterCard introduced verifiable intent, a new standards-based trust layer developed with Google to provide cryptographic proof of user authorization for AI-driven purchases. Very cool. Hyperliquid tops 24-hour fees at 1.7 million, followed by Tron with 1 million. That's crazy. Dixie said, I've had a job offer from both NASA and SpaceX. Like recently? That's crazy. That's so badass. Jim Cramer said the current rally may be a chance for people to sell. Feeling bullish yet? Thank God Jim Cramer stepped up to the plate. He said the thing. It's go time, guys. Dixie said software engineer definitely in demand. Yeah, that's awesome. Definitely there's gonna be people need integrations, and you can't like integrate with like a teenager. You gotta have somebody who's like well experienced software engineer. Like it can't be like, oh, my son's fresh out of high school, you know, he likes to do all that AI stuff. He talks to ChatGPT all day. That's not the kid that's going to be helping you with integrations at your, like, enterprise business, you know. Nintendo sues the U.S. government over tariffs imposed by Donald Trump, seeking a refund with interest. That I thought was hilarious. Nintendo literally sues everybody, and it kind of cracks me up. An Ethereum ICO wallet moved 100.3 ETH after 10.6 years of dormancy. The original $124 investment is now worth about $835,000. That's crazy. Dixie said in the last year, both yes. That's so sick. Anthropic introduced the Claude Marketplace, a platform for enterprise to access AI tools, now in limited preview. Very cool. Nearly 31,900 Bitcoin, around $3 billion, was withdrawn from exchanges in a single day. Yeah, I think we're at record lows on exchange availability. Interesting. Anthropic's Claude Opus 4.6 estimates a 15 to 20% chance it's conscious. That's crazy. Tokenized stocks surpassed $1 billion. See, I guess, again, and I've talked about this in the past, my biggest concern is like we have Bitcoin here. We're like, here's Bitcoin and blockchain technology. Wall Street's like, sick, cool, Bitcoin. And they come over here, they're like, okay, what about this? What about this blockchain technology? I like that. Let's get some of that. Well, let's just use that. I don't want this Bitcoin. We don't really need Bitcoin anymore. Let's make our own blockchain tech. And we're just going to use that from this point forward. That is my biggest, like the most FUD in the world could not like blind me from the idea that Wall Street might just be utilizing blockchain technology, and they probably don't give a two craps about existing blockchains. You know what I mean? It's unnecessary liability. It's way too easy to just copy paste code for like blockchains in general. So you can hire an engineer, and they have the money to do it too. You can hire an engineer and just say, I want you to build me Litecoin. Make it faster though. Actually, build me like Solana. Build me Solana, but call it something else. and we're gonna build our entire business on top of it. Okay, that's all they had to do. And guess what? It's cheaper. The liability on like third party is not there at all. They've completely eliminated that concern. It's just, I don't know. It's definitely a huge talking point for me. Bitmine Emergent Technologies and Strategy are carrying about 8.4 billion and 7.5 billion in unrealized losses. That's a lot of money. Stock Money Lizards posted back below 70K. As mentioned, we stay calm. It's not expected that Bitcoin turn the shit around in just a couple of days. Okay. I agree. CFTC Chair Michael Selig. Crypto is a check on debanking and exclusion from the financial system. He added it's important society has alternative financial systems that give individuals and small businesses more freedom outside traditional banking. Selig added the U.S. needs clear rules that protect and legitimize the crypto industry as Washington works on new digital asset legislation. This is a historic Atkins Selig era. I like it. Let's get some shit done. I heard some new premium copium today that the president, for every presidency, allegedly forces their first 2 years to be really bad and then their last 2 years to be really good. That way they can be like, when elections come, they're like, vote for me. Remember how great the last 2 years have been? And then you're like, oh yeah, the last 2 years have been amazing. And who actually thinks back to 4 years ago? They're like, 4 years ago, gas was kind of expensive. No, I don't think about that ever. Or I try not to, at least. Why do I give a shit about how much gas cost yesterday? Qatar warns oil could climb to $150 within 2 to 3 weeks if tankers cannot pass through the Strait of Hormuz. Vessel movement through the strait has reportedly dropped about 90%. Go fill up your tanks. That was 10 hours ago. I'm pretty sure the new metric is 92%, the most recent one. Dario A. Modi's AI learned to lie, then it learned to threaten, then it learned to hide what it was doing. He didn't cover it up. He testified to Congress about it. Then he went back to the lab to make the AI smarter. Dario helped build GPT-2 and GPT-3 at OpenAI. In 2021, he walked out and took half of the safety team with him. In 2023, when the board fired Sam Altman, their first call was to Dario. He said no. His company Anthropic is now worth $380 billion. Revenue $1.4 billion in March, $4.5 billion by July. Fastest growing enterprise software company in history. The man warning Congress about extinction is building the thing he's warning them about. Damn. This made me want to pay more attention to Anthropic than GPT. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like ChatGPT. What's the best analogy for this? I feel like ChatGPT is like the Walmart brand. Great value. Like sometimes it's perfect. Sometimes it's literally the perfect fit. Sometimes it's kind of cheap and shitty. Most of the time, if you can avoid it, you're probably going to. But it's nice to have if you need it. That's how I feel about ChatGPT. Like, I feel like it's just kind of like, it's like we have McDonald's at home. ChatGPT is McDonald's at home. I'm not a fan. Bitcoin is setting up for the bull trap. Structure is identical to the 2022 cycle. This is market maker's favorite playbook. Bear trap to shake out the shorts, bull trap to shake out the longs. Expect one final dump before bottom. You have been warned. And then we got a video. I do like a good video, and they do very nicely demonstrate it. I don't hate it. I really don't. We get one more dump, one more pump, and then the actual like trap. I feel like that could actually play out. Let's see what happens. Bitcoin 1 month. Bear markets are becoming less severe. Now, we have highlighted this, actually. We've talked about this, so I wanted to read this. This post I thought was very interesting. Every Bitcoin cycle shows the same solution, or same evolution. The drawdowns after the top become smaller over time. 2011, 93. 2013, 87. 2017, 84. 2021, 78. I don't remember if we averaged it out, but we were trying to be a little more frugal with it. We went with 58, which put us at 51,500. We could definitely go lower. We could go like 65% or 70%. As the market matures and liquidity grows, downside volatility compresses. If that trend continues, the next bear market could be shallower again. For reference, a about 70% drawdown from the 2025 cycle top would place Bitcoin around 37K. Not a prediction, but clearly within the range of previous cycles. Also worth noting, Bitcoin has never closed a monthly candle below the previous cycle top during a bear market. Something to keep in mind, especially considering we've already seen a 50% drawdown this cycle. Personally, I won't wait for 37K. I'll be DCAing on the way down. The goal isn't catching the exact bottom, it's building positions during maximum fear where opportunity outweighs risk. Curious, what's your DCA strategy? I like it. This is an excellent post. This is amazing. This deserves more. Definitely deserves more views. I'm gonna repost it. The same guy, Crypto Flow, 8 hours ago. He posted Bitcoin, the structure played out 2 days ago. I shared this setup. Bitcoin was breaking above resistance, but the move looked very similar to the January breakout. Back then, we saw breakout above resistance, quick rejection, and once again, the structure rhymed almost perfectly. Price pushed above resistance, then quickly lost the level again. Another failed breakout. This is exactly why confirmation matters. Until resistance is reclaimed and held as support, these moves remain vulnerable to rejection. For now, Bitcoin is still trading inside the same range. And the key question remains the same. Will Bitcoin reclaim resistance, or is this just another trap before the next move lower? Yeah. So sideways accumulation channels that could kill you. Takes so long too, man. We've been sitting in these damn channels for so long. Mustache posted, we're all being fooled. 2016 fake out followed by a bull run for altcoins. 2020 fake out followed by a bull run for altcoins. 2026, he's calling for a fake out followed by a bull run for altcoins. That would be pretty cool. Let's see what happens. Borg said altcoins are about to crash. Mark Chadwick posted, this just happened and it's super bullish for crypto. The White House just released President Trump's new cyber strategy for America. The report directly positions cryptocurrency and blockchain as strategic technologies the U.S. must secure and lead globally. Key highlights, crypto is now being framed alongside AI, quantum computing, and cybersecurity as critical infrastructure for the future economy. The administration also commits to removing burdensome regulations so industry can innovate faster in emerging technologies. The strategy explicitly supports securing cryptocurrencies and blockchain technologies as part of protecting U.S. innovation and leadership. Translation, blockchain is now being placed in the same strategic class as AI and quantum computing. Its national strategic infrastructure, the U.S. will protect, secure, and build around for the future. While everyone complains about a 3% drop, the most important and insanely bullish moves are happening behind the scenes. That's pretty cool. We've got Mark Chadwick again. POV, you didn't panic sell your crypto because this week alone we saw stocks, bonds, and ETFs can now be traded 24/7 on blockchain rails and treated as traditional securities. Kraken gained access to the Fed's payment system. New York Stock Exchange's parent company invested in a major crypto exchange. Everything about crypto is insanely bullish except the price. We're at the part where legends are made. And then this very famous scene where he goes, so I was right. I took a rashy shit for 2 years, but I was right, and everyone was wrong. That's pretty epic. World's most 50 valuable companies, Nvidia still number one. We got Microsoft, TSMC, Meta, Broadcom, Alphabet, Apple, Samsung, Tencent, ASML, Amazon, Tesla, Home Depot, interesting, Alibaba, Visa, Lilly, General Electric, Procter & Gamble, Walmart, Netflix, Micron, AMD, Palantir, Oracle. What is that, Skynet? That's pretty cool. Netflix has now traded green for 8 consecutive days, its longest winning streak since April-May. Very cool. Breaking, Campbell's Soup CPB falls to its lowest price since the global financial crisis. Dang. I feel like maybe we should buy some. $25.06. This thing's, well, I guess it's not even down that much. Nike, not doing it. That's funny. On the brink of hitting its lowest price since May. S&P 500 SPY has now closed below its 100-day moving average in 2 of the last 3 trading days for the first time since May. Dang. And we got bar chart. This one's really funny. From Jason Zwig. I put 2 children through Harvard by trading options. Unfortunately, they were my broker's children. That made me laugh. Gold ETF saw an outflow of $2.91 billion on Wednesday, the largest in a decade. Largest outflow since November 2016. Dang. The average S&P 500 stock is now more volatile than the SPX by the largest margin in roughly 25 years. All right. Crude oil soars to its highest price in nearly 2 years. Stock market took a big fat dumperino. Crude oil soars to $92 for the first time since 2023. Chamath SPAC performance. Ouch. Maybe Jim Cramer and Cathie Wood aren't so bad. Dang, that's actually crazy. Last but not least, Jim Cramer saved Microsoft. CNBC's Jim Cramer on Microsoft. This is the one I'm worried about. Dang, Cramer going through the latest for the charitable trust. All right. Nice. Very nice. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. Bitcoin chilling. 68,175. Let's go see crypto bubbles. Daily, we got Pies up 13, Kites down 13, Zcash down, Pump Fund, Tau, ENA, Sui, Dash, Tezos, Chili's, Sky, Aave, Morpho. Everything's pretty much down. Stable's up. That's kind of funny. And then the week, OKB is up significantly, so is Hype, Pi, ZRO. Pippin's down 49%. Whoa, that's crazy. And 08 is down 6.4. ICP's down. HBAR, Polkadot, Ton is it up? Avalanche is up. What's M? That's kind of funny. Just a single letter. My year, Zcash is up 514% still. Pippin's up 1,402. Wow. I don't even know what the heck that is. Monero's up 52. Pax Gold, obviously. XAUT, that's also gold. Tokenized gold. Jupe down 71. Algo. Coca, 503. Very cool. Very, very cool. All right, let's see what Grok said. We said, what do you think Trump's plan is with Iran? It seems unsustainable for not only oil, but inflation to keep up this conflict. What is your estimated input and timeline? Grok said Trump's plan with Iran is a high-stakes escalation of his first-term maximum pressure strategy, now combined with direct but limited U.S. military force alongside Israel to force regime collapse or capitulation without American boots on the ground. This isn't about indefinite conflict or nation-building. It's peace through strength on steroids, degrade Iran's nuclear program, ballistic missiles, navy, and proxy networks so thoroughly that a regime either surrenders unconditionally or the Iranian people overthrow it. Trump has been explicit as of March 6th. He posted, there will be no deal, unconditional surrender. After that, the U.S. and allies would help select great and acceptable leaders. This builds directly on 2025 actions, restored sanctions, a failed 60-day negotiation deadline, and prior strikes, including U.S. ones in June 2025 on nuclear sites. Operation Epic Fury, launched February 28th with Israel, is the kinetic phase, precision airstrikes, and missiles targeting military infrastructure, not occupation. Trump has offered immunity to IRGC and police who lay down their arms and publicly urged Iranians to take over your government. The end game is regime change by air power and internal pressure, echoing his first-term withdrawal from the JCPOA and the IRGC terrorist designation. But finishing the job, no long-term U.S. entanglement. He explicitly rules out or downplays ground troops. You're right that sustaining looks risky on oil and inflation, but Trump's bet is that it won't need sustaining long. Oil spiked. If Iran disrupts the Strait of Hormuz, blah, blah, blah. However, the U.S. is far less vulnerable than in past crises. Shale production, strategic reserves, less direct import dependence, past Middle East flare-ups showed spikes often reverse quickly once shipping stabilizes. Trump and aides project the core objective, nuclear missile degradation, Navy sunk, proxies crippled, can be met in 4 to 5 weeks, not years. My dependent estimate, main combat phase wraps in 4 to 8 weeks if strikes succeed in paralyzing Iran's capabilities. Problem I have with that is 8 weeks is 2 months. Full resolution, surrender, collapse, or new leadership negotiations could take 1 to 3 months total, assuming no major escalation like full Hormuz closure or wider regional draw-in. Regime change purely from the air is historically tough, but the combination of degraded military, internal unrest, and Khamenei's reported death creates a plausible tipping point Trump is gambling on. If it drags beyond 2 to 3 months, your point on unsustainability bites harder. Oil volatility feeds inflation. Fed rate cuts get delayed and market stays jittery. Trump is betting on the opposite. Decisive victory stabilizes energy markets faster than endless sanctions or diplomacy ever could, while eliminating a nuclear threat sponsor long-term. It's classic Trump high risk, high reward. Finish the job rather than manage the problem. Success hinges on speed and Iranian internal dynamics. Failure risks exactly the prolonged pain you're flagging. Early signs, ongoing strikes, Tehran airport hits, Iran retaliation, show it's intense but contained so far. We'll know more in weeks, not years. Yeah. 88 Metals Mania said 2 to 3 months is a long time. Doubt it goes that long. That's what I mean. Like Trump's like, he's moving fast. I don't think he wants 2 to 3 months. I think 2 to 3 months is too much. But it's a reasonable estimate for like artificial intelligence that really has no idea what the hell's going on. Trump's definitely a wild card, that's for sure. Gold and silver are quiet. Bitcoin down is 59.1. Bitcoin itself 0.05 in the green. It's struggling. 68,148. It is the weekend, so not expecting really anything, honestly. Low volatility, low volume, low liquidity. Everything's going to be low. We got 4 votes. Most of you guys are saying up to $4 for gas, so you think we're pretty much plateaued at the most. It seems like it. Anyways, guys, we've been going for an hour and a half. Probably call it an evening. There's not much going on in the market. Yeah. As always, market starts to do anything crazy or anything at all, I will hop back on. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow. Don't forget to smash the like button on your way out. Happy Friday and good night.